Check out the link in the description below and you can find a worksheet that goes along with this lesson. Welcome back to Ukulele Corner. Now that you're getting a handle on how to find the harmonized scale, what we call the chord scale, and we did it in C major, we also looked briefly at the key of G. Now we're going to try to see how, let's take our open shapes and move them around from our CAGED system. Let's take C, let's move up 2 frets. Now if I play that C shape as a bar chord, now we're in the key of D, a whole step higher than C. Now we learned in C, the 4 chord is F, it's right here. The 5 chord is G, it's right here. If we imagine those shapes now as our CAGED system, if I just hang out here with my index finger, you'll notice I go to F, then I move my fingers around, go to G. It's very common actually to do G7. It's even easier to play, and it feels really great. If I just move that up 2 frets, without even thinking about anything else, I'm not even going to think about anything other than fingerings. Now we're in a new key. What if I move up another fret? Wow, we're getting 1, 4, and 5 chords in all these keys without barely moving our hand. I'm not changing position. And so with each particular CAGED shape, you can find a related 4 and 5 chord right next door. You might sometimes, for some of the positions, move up or down a fret, but in general, they're just right in the same area of the neck. So let's look at C. I'm going to use that G7. We could do the G shape, up 1 fret, then up another fret. That's what got us to the key of D. D, it's 4 chord, we don't even know this yet. If you count D, E, F, G, hey, it's a G chord. Then we're going to get to an A chord, or do A7, to get the 5-7, or dominant 7th chord, back to 1. So let's do a 1-4-5 progression in the key of D. We're going to go 1, 4, 5, then back to 1, 4 strums each. Ready, play. D, 2nd position. Now we're going to go to G, using the F shape. And now we're going to go to A, or A7, using this G7 shape, like a G7 chord up, then back to D. Let's do that again. D, 1, 2. Think ahead. We're going to go to G, using this F shape. I just leave the bar down the whole time. Then A7, back to D. Repeat that. Stay on D. D, 1, 2, 3, 4, then switch. There's the 4 chord right there. 5 chord, back to 1. Now let's look at an idea of how this could work if you're playing a song. And we're using C shape, F shape. Could use the G shape, but it's even easier and very effective in this key to use the G7 shape. Notice there I don't have to bar, right? I could lift up my index finger there. You don't need to cover other strings higher because our fingers are down there. So I'll play a song called Hi'ilave, a very common Hawaiian, wonderful Hawaiian song. Gabi Pahinui made this famous in Hawaii. And it does a vamp between the 1 and the 5 chord in the key of D, D, and A7. 1, 5, 1. There's a melody that starts 1, 4, 1. 1, 5, 1. Vamp, 5, 1. There's 2 vamps. The verse is 1, 4, 1, 1, 5, 1. Then 2 vamps, 5, 1. What's amazing about this system, you can play in any key. It becomes a physical, mechanical memory sort of idea where your fingers just know where to go. And you don't even have to think about chords. And this actually is done very commonly. A lot of old-time Hawaiian musicians who I've met, I ask them, what's the chord in the song you're playing? They don't know. They're just playing the shapes, and they know how they relate together. They're using their ear. So, but we're going to do both. We're going to actually relate and understand what chords we're playing, but also relate them to these shapes. Let's say the key of D for a singer, it's just not the right key. Let's move up 2 more frets. Let's play in the key of E. Now I'm playing in 4th position. 1, 5, 1. I'm going from an E to a B7. Those are the names of the chords now. And the 4 chord is going to be A, using the F shape. 1, 5, E to B7, and back. We're giving the chords totally different names, but we're not doing anything different with our hands. We just moved to a different place. Vamp. So that's the G7 shape to this is the C shape, right? C shape goes to the F shape for the 4 chord. C shape then goes to the 5 chord. I just move my pinky down, make that G7 shape with the first finger free. C shape, right? F shape, G7 shape. But the first finger is free to hold down these low strings, covering what would be open strings. Now it's movable because we're covering that like a capo, moving up to different positions. Let's say E is just not working. Almost there, but it's just still a little too low, let's say. So how about 1 more fret higher? Now we're in the key of F, 5th position. And what's wonderful about this, let's say I want to jump back to very comfortable common chords that we know, and I play my F, B flat, and C7. That's what I'm playing here, F, B flat, and C7. Listen to how they sound similar in different positions. 1, 4, 1. 1, 5, 1. This is very melodic because we have this nice high melody note. Now do different voicings of the chords down low. 1, 4, 1. 1, 5, 1. 5 amp, twice. So I'm going from the 1 chord is F in this key, F, B flat is 4, F is 1. F, C7, F. That's 1, 5, C7. Then I start finger picking and put in a couple embellishments around, and the music comes alive. You have different ways of playing it. And so that is the big goal here with this system. Before you know it, you'll be able to play the same set of chords in different parts of the neck, and that will bring out different melodies and different tonalities, because each inversion or shape of the chord has a very different sound. So just start with reviewing that chord scale in the key of C, and then try to apply that to playing the 1 C chord and 4 F chord and 5 G or G7 chord. Then we just move that using the C shape, F shape, and the G7 shape. We move to different positions. So for each of the 5 shapes we've looked at in the CAGED system, you can do this. And so that's what we'll do in the lessons coming up. Study your C positions first, and next we're going to dive into playing using the A shape. And I'll be right back with that in a minute.